When you think of factory street legal supermotos, at the top of your head you can probably only name a few: KTM's 690 SMC, Husky's 701SM, Aprilia's Dorsoduro, Yamaha's WR250X, and of course the DRZ400SM. It is easy to see why the DRZ400SM is the most popular supermoto on the streets of Singapore and probably in quite a huge number of countries elsewhere. Whereas the European models tend to be focused on performance and usually are harder to come by in the market, the DRZ400SM is pretty much left with only the WR250X from Yamaha as its sole competitor. Now, before I move on, I have to say that I have owned this 2006 DRZ400SM for about a year now. And I have to mention that this is not an entirely stock machine. It comes with a GPR titanium oval exhaust. It has Ohlins in front suspension, and of course tires are Badlex BD090s. And for reference, in this comparison, I will be referring to my entirely subjective experience with a bone stock Yamaha WR250X that I spent about 30 minutes in a car park lot. Compared to the WR, the DRZ is one of those bikes that seem to be stuck in Miss Peregrine's time loop bubble. The DRZ has not changed much since 2005 when it was introduced. While the WR feels a lot more modern now with fuel injection and a more refined throttle response, the DRZ is still stuck with a carburetor and a sluggish throttle. The DRZ also only has a 5-speed transmission as opposed to the 6-speed that is on the WR. And while this does help the DRZ to attain a better fuel economy, reaching top speed with this gear transmission system does take a bit of legwork. The rear suspension also feels nowhere near as comfortable and refined in general as the WRs. While the DRZ obviously beats the WR with its extra 150cc in terms of torque and horsepower, you kind of realize eventually that it's still pretty paltry, as the engine tries incredibly hard to push further than 120 kilometers per hour as it strains itself into a hysterical vibrating mess. The stock seat is kind of a hit and miss. While it is perfectly curved and low enough to make butt shifting side to side and putting a foot out easier while maintaining an upright posture for cornering, it is fucking hell on earth for your balls as far as a straight line long distance riding is concerned, because of its hardness that would really put hardtack biscuits to shame. The lack of a fuel gauge, I would say, fuel light and probably steel braided brake lines are some things that kind of annoy me, although it really isn't a deal breaker for veteran riders. But on the bright side of things, the DRZ is built like a bloody tank with a near indestructible engine that can really go further than 150,000 kilometers, like the one I have, good boy, and also survive multiple crashes, by the way. It is also the dream machine of Scrooges, considering it gets about 26 kilometers to a liter, which you will definitely need on its pretty small 10-liter tank. The simplicity of its old-fashioned design may appeal to some mechanical Luddites out there that still prefer to be able to wrench on their own machines rather than handing it over to a corporate mechanic with a whole bunch of bells and whistles installed into the machine itself. Despite its many shortcomings, the DRZ is actually a very fun machine to thrash around on the pavement, streets, and occasionally off-road. The bike handles easily and is extremely forgiving to beginners and also to veterans who are looking for a very relaxing ride. At its heart, the DRZ is kind of like that trusty, albeit plain friend that brings you out for fun times and kind of looks out for you so that you can have a peace of mind when you get pissed drunk on the floor somewhere. The stock seat is kind of a hit and miss. This is why I need a script or something over there for me to read. Don't mind the phone, it's a list of points. I can't remember everything I want to say.